Tottenham versus Chelsea is on this week. Two big rivals, historic rivalry. Don't always see eye to eye. I'm going to read out 5 statements and we're going to see whether we agree or disagree.
Put your opinions in the comments below regarding our statements.
Let's get to it. James Maddison is a better player than Palmer. I mean, I'm going to agree straight away. I'm just going to say.
I mean, if you're going...
It might be controversial, but I'm agreeing.
I'm saying this way, actually.
I nearly had him.
Are you going off Maddison at Spurs or are you going off Maddison at Leicester?
I'm kind of just going on Maddison as a player, as a footballer. Like, I know,
Okay.
I know he's been injured a lot and whatever, and he hasn't been playing as much. But when I'm just thinking of like, what person do I want in my team?
Yeah.
For me personally, I think, don't get me wrong, I think Palmer's a brilliant player. I think he's been carried a lot by the amount of penalties he's scored as well, though. And I do find there are some games he does switch off.
True.
Whereas I feel like Maddison's ability to sort of create from anywhere on the pitch, in my opinion, is better than what Palmer does in that sense.
Well, if you're going off like what he's done in that sense of like creating stuff in the pitch, it's like, let's not forget about like the game when he played against City, that big game against his old team, and he stepped up, became Chelsea's man, not City's boy anymore. So you look at that as like a young player coming into the scenes. You did, you know what I mean? Like Maddison didn't really come on the scenes like at his certain age group. Yes, he has got the experience. Yeah. However, I feel like what Palmer has to bring already, and for the next couple years within Chelsea, hopefully if he does stay, that's obviously up there, of course. But I do say, like, if you look at that ability-wise and like creativity and like just what he can do on the ball, he's just magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, I do think Palmer's a great player. Now, I might have a little bit of bias in this.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like, for me, I can't win in any scenario because we are as a team so bad right now.
Yes.
It's hard to like say that, yeah, Maddison's better than Palmer. But I'm trying to focus solely on like the individual and what they like, just how they play football. His again, I'll come back to it, but just his creativeness, man. Like, he makes the midfield tick for us. And I guess you could probably argue the same for Palmer, but I guess they kind of do their roles a little bit differently in a way. But I don't know, man. I think James Maddison is criminally underrated as well. Deserves the England call-up.
I would say, yeah, he is underrated. I will give you that. But yeah, when it comes to like big games stepping up, who's going to be the main man on that ball? Who's going to be the main man on that score sheet? It's Palmer. Everyone knows it's Palmer.
I feel like I'm going to get cooked in the comments. But hey, that's what we're here for. Spurs versus Chelsea produce more interesting games than the North London derby. Which I actually think so.
I mean, I'm going over here again.
Really? You think North London derby's got more? The rivalry, yeah, North London derby. I'm talking like individual matches. I feel like so much madness happens in Spurs Chelsea games. Whereas the North London derby for us is usually it's always just a close 2-1 to someone, 1-0. I can't really think of many North London derbies except for ones like years ago, where it was like that game was insane, like ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like when you look at like Chelsea v Tottenham, yeah, I feel like obviously it's usually 9 out of 10. The reason why it's interesting is because somehow you scored maybe 2, maybe 3 goals. But yeah, it's like what happened recently this season. You know what I mean? 2-0 up, lost the game 4-3. But hey, we won't talk about that.
But that's what makes it interesting, though.
That's what I mean. But usually, no, we come down to White Hart and it's 3-point lane for us, as always. So it's like, but you look at the North London derby though, I just feel like if you look at a historical thing but even if you go around the world, people know of the North London derby.
Oh no, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Which is why I think more people are more intrigued. Like I've known friends, I've known people who hate Arsenal and Tottenham, but they will go always watch that game. I wouldn't really see anyone besides if you support Chelsea and Tottenham to really watch us play. But you watch like, you know, you've got United fans, Liverpool fans, City, the list goes on and on and on. That would actually go and make sure they fully watch North London derby.
But I just find that it's more like in recent times. Oh, I totally agree with you about the actual derby itself. Like the North London derby is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best in the country. Yeah. If I'm looking at individual matches of football, even though it's against me, the last 2 at our place have been ridiculous games. The Battle of the Bridge alone is like one of the most iconic games in the Premier League, in my opinion, just for how just rough everything was. Dembele scratching, whose eye was it? Was it Costa? No, someone, I can't remember who, but I feel like there were just more memorable
outcomes in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because it was just bigger scorelines than Spurs Arsenal.
I don't know. I just feel like when sometimes, like with Tottenham as well, like I feel like what makes North London so exciting is because, fair enough, you are the underdogs in them games.
Yeah.
But when you guys get going and you surprise, that's when it really, really amps up. Where sometimes I feel like regarding nowadays with Chelsea and Tottenham, it is sort of like whoever turns up for the day.
Yeah, I feel that. There are loads of games where I'm thinking...
Everyone says their opinions, but everyone will always say Arsenal's winning the North London derby. Very, very rarely you hear someone say Tottenham.
Maresca has a better forward plan than Ange for next season.
Come on, don't be silly. Don't be silly. Don't you? Yes, thank you.
Right,
You have to agree.
I have to agree. Just off this season alone, I don't think I can. I don't really have enough evidence to say otherwise right now. I will say, like, I don't think I've really watched you enough this year to fully understand what Maresca's plans are. It does seem like it has dipped a little bit the last few games.
Oh yes, no, 100%.
We've been poor all season, so it's hard to say anything.
I'll say we definitely haven't stepped up, but overall though, if you look at how he's come in and really swapped the team around over the last season to this season, it is way better than like how Tottenham structured if you look at the dynamics. Because of obviously, yes or no, we've got about 25 strikers. However, we're finally bringing it down to, like we said, a squad of 18. We are finally bringing it down to a squad of 18, meaning with the attacking force that we have and when they start gelling as they are, I feel like Tottenham, they're already missing that previous gel. Yeah. And with losing that big man Kane up front, no one stepped up in his position.
Fair.
And I feel like the only way, if he had a plan to counteract Chelsea's, is by getting someone who's close to what, if not Kane's standards, which is going to be near enough impossible.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's such a tough thing at the moment because Ange, his job's on the line. If we don't, if we don't win Europa League, then I think he's probably gone. But for me, it's obviously just a huge if. If we did win it, say, back in Champions League, I think his football can work so well a big if the board actually back him and get the right players. Because we don't.
Oh yes.
I feel like the wingers don't service his football the way it has done when he was at Celtic and in Japan as well. Whereas like Brennan Johnson isn't the type of winger that it brings you Ange ball. And obviously Odegaard, like he's been injured, he's new. It's hard to tell with him. But I think we just need more players that suit his system. If we were to do that, I really think Ange can kick on at Spurs. But it's just such a big.
It's a big ask,
and maybes.
To come around. So like with that, obviously statement, we all know that with Chelsea's plan, give it 5 years. I'll be humble, I'll be realistic. Not like Arsenal,
No.
But if you look at it in that aspect, I'll say with the strike force that we have at the moment with forwards and the players, like we can bring on players, but they understand the system, they know their roles, and they can switch up by bringing one player on, but all the other 4 or 2 or 3 or however many, they know the game plan straight away.
Chelsea's recruitment is more effective than Spurs.
Ooh.
Really, the billion that you've spent in the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, but look where we are in the league, though.
All right. Okay.
With our investments that people said, oh, why are they spending that much money? I mean, the table don't lie.
I just feel like you're going to get into trouble very soon with the amount of money you lot have spent. If you don't manage to move these players on, it feels like to me your ownership are just like spunking money at any player that's like a 5-star potential on like FM.
Oh no, you're spot on.
And don't get me wrong, look, our position in the league has been atrocious.
Yeah.
But just in the last like year, the youngsters that we're bringing through are like some of the best that are in like Europe. Like Bergvall has like hit the ground running this season.
True.
Gray is one of the best English youngsters in the country. The problem is that a lot of ours at the moment are like around that 17 to 19-year-old bracket. So it's not really been shown just yet.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, just from like seeing these guys week in, week out, I think the future for Spurs is looking really good because of the transfers we made so far the last year.
But then true, but if you're going back to like, obviously talk about the future of Spurs and bringing in academy players, you remember like something you brought in like Dele Alli, you brought in like young Dembele. Do you know what I mean? You got all these like young, great, talented players that you brought in, and Spurs fans said the exact same thing then. Be like, we're going to be great, we're going to win stuff. You won niche. You won niche. You did. But like, if you look at Chelsea's one, the reason why I say that we have probably a better one is because I understand you're bringing a lot of 17, 18, 19-year-olds. However, we've brought them in. Yes, we spent an arm and a leg, but however, even though we've brought them in, they've adapted to the Prem. They're learning every single time in the Prem, but they've got that a couple years experience compared to the likes of the 17, 18-year-olds that are coming in. But then same again though, like if you're going with, you actually, going to like Champions League games, you go Europa League games. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like with these youngsters, depending on how they really do adapt with the league, because obviously Prem's a hard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Literally the hardest
story,
in the world. Yeah.
But I'd say regarding like with Chelsea's outrageous price budgets we've had, I'll hold my hands up and say it's been outrageous. But if you're looking at like from what we've had and what we're going to have, and you're looking at Tottenham, I can see Chelsea's going way further again, like we were a couple years. Like you go back 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like we were up there. We were one of the. I will admit we have fallen, but I'm thinking now we're starting to really start to gel back again.
That's fair. I don't see how your strategy is like sustainable at all. And like, we're not going to see the fruits of that labor right now. Like it's all well and good now. Like you're in like top 4.
Yes,
it looks good now. But I just feel like it's going to really, really come back to bite you in a few years' time. Like what's kind of happening with City. But give it like 3-4 years, I think you could be in trouble personally.
I don't know. You know what? It'll be interesting to see what happens in 3 years from now, from where Tottenham are and where Chelsea are. And let's see if you guys can enjoy the glory of being back up there again.
I think ours probably totally rests on what manager we have at the time. Because, if we, you never know, Inzaghi in the summer.
Oh, that's a statement. Oh.
Being a Chelsea fan is easier than being a Spurs fan.
That is interesting.
Easier.
I'm going to say
purely because you've been able to win things,
yes.
even when you're bad.
I was going to say
it's got
that.
to be this way.
Because like, if you go off like with Tottenham, for example, everywhere you go, you're getting the likes of like JJ and all them lot going to all these massive countries, and every single time he goes there, he goes, "What do you think of Tottenham?" And they all know exactly how that song finishes.
It's not even like at football events. I had it was at the Sidemen Chattery match. I heard it then. It's at the darts. Everyone says it then as well.
Yeah.
Like you say, in other countries when no one even knows what they're saying. I heard some people were doing it in the NFL as well. I'm like, what has happened here? Yeah.
So I would say that, you are having a much rough time compared to us because of that one reason, though, of like, in any argument you getting whatsoever, it just comes straight to the classic answers, of, have you won the Champions League? No. Have you won the Premier League? No. So already...
Stick that in your trophy cabinet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like you guys are probably like, you are super reactionary when things go bad.
No, 100%.
Really reactionary. But at the end of the day, like you weren't really that great recently and still won the Champions League.
That is true.
So it's like you can't argue with that.
No.
Whereas even when we're good, we haven't won anything. So how can I be happy in this instance? So yeah, I think you guys definitely have it easier.
Yeah, we do.
And the thing is, like, you complain about like some certain players all the time. It must be nice to spend $1 billion in 2 years. You're like, oh yeah, that youngster in Brazil, yeah, we'll bring him in. No, you from France, yeah, come on.
Hey, don't eat the man's wallet. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he's feeding everyone good at Chelsea. And it's a bit too much, if anything. But yeah, I'll say regarding everything, with Tottenham fans out there, I do hope that you guys are holding strong and, it's okay.
There are numbers you can call. Well, it's going to be a tasty one on Thursday.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I'm not, but hey, we'll
wish you all the best.
Oh yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Game on.
Perfect.
Nice.